Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. Can you hear God speaking? Can you hear Him? Can you stop and listen and hear what He has to say? God doesn't always use words. Let me give you an example. A number of years ago, the house where my wife and I lived was robbed. Our house was robbed. We were sleeping in the bedroom, which was in the back of the house, and a thief came in through a window, broke a window, came in through the window, and started robbing things in the living room. Fortunately, we did not get up and have a confrontation, and the thief left. When we called the police looked around, but the thief didn't leave any note. Hey, my name is Joe, and I just robbed this house. Here's my address. He didn't leave anything. But a detective came, and he had this kind of dust and his kit with him, and he took fingerprints from the window. And the thief's fingerprints were all over the window. So in Psalm 19, David is telling us that we can hear from God through creation, through what God is creation. Because God created everything, His fingerprints are all over creation. His power, His compassion, His care, His love, it can be known from what He has created because His fingerprints are on it. And in Psalm 19, verse 3, listen to what David says. He's talking about creation, the works of creation. They have no speech. They use no words. No sound is heard from them. So we don't hear anything in nature. There's not a sign going across the clouds that tells us something about God. But from examining, from stopping and considering and observing and meditating, we learn about God from examining creation because His fingerprints are there. So we stop, observe, and consider. This past week, a friend of ours was going through a horrible time, difficult time, the worst time you could imagine in your life, a night of darkness. And after I had first heard about what was going on, it was the evening, I looked out of the window and there was a beautiful sunset. And it just made me realize, I just was staring at the sunset for a few minutes, and I realized that even though the night is coming, the sunset reminds us that no matter how dark the night is, no matter how long the night is, the sun will rise again in the morning, because the sun sets and then the sun comes up. And that spoke to me. God spoke to me from my observing nature, and God encouraged my heart. And I want to encourage you today to listen for God's voice. Observe and consider things around you. Jesus encouraged us to do just that. You remember in Matthew 6:26 what He said? He said, look at the birds of the air. So He's observe, consider the birds of the air, and think about it. Think about God's care for them. Think about how God cares for things. Think about the cycles of life, all of those things. And you will hear God's voice. So just meditate for a few minutes at the end of this video on Matthew 6:26. And God bless you as you stop, consider, and hear what God has to say to you today. Take care.